zone. He's got Simpkins bought in for the touchdown. Deshaun Simpkins with the snag.
Looking left to Sims Marshall. Home run down for Jalen Marshall. He's got a touchdown.
On tap, we're here at the barn here in Ross as the Rams at 3-1 will take on the Northwest Knights at 3-2. Along with the rookie Kevin Zilch, I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us here on Chatterbox Plus as we get into the SWOC season, the Southwest Ohio Conference. And Kev, it was a tough night for the Ross Rams a week ago, but it was also the number one team in the region and the number two team in the state that Ross lost to in Brayden, but they got plenty to look forward to tonight with their quarterback.
Absolutely. Brayden Fraasman, I mean, I'll tell you what, one thing that was interesting in that Brayden game, they threw for 9 times and they run a triple option offense. So one thing we saw there, and we were just talking about, he can throw the football. So he's a great athlete. Coach Commons was very high on him. We talked with him early on in the week. Really excited to see what he can do here tonight. On the other side, for a Northwest in with a record of 3-2, it's been a resurgence for in the last couple of years, and there's a philosophy behind that. Yeah, Coach Johnson, who one of his biggest keys tonight, he wants to hear the pads popping all night long. So what does that tell me? He wants to see these kids go out there and play hard. They're in a progression. They're building this program up. We talked with him in the pregame. He's excited for tonight. I'm really interested to see how they come out and handle this offense, though, of Ross, because this is a tough one. It's the Rams and the Knights. Coming up, we will have the starting lineups and the opening kickoff. This is Week 6 action here on Chatterbox Plus. Just mere moments away from the start of this one here in Ross. From the barn, along with Kevin Zilch, I'm Geoff Kim. And time now to zero in with Zilch. Yeah, tonight's keys of the game, Jeff, for Northwest. One thing they have to do on defense when they're going up against this triple option offense is they have to play disciplined football. Everybody has to be tackled. They have to get their keys. It's the old Bill Belichick saying they have to do their job tonight. That's the only way you can stop this potent triple option action from Ross. And then, really dominate the line of scrimmage on the offensive line. And that's what Coach Johnson was talking about in his pregame to us. He wants to hear those pads popping. He wants kids going out there and hitting. It all starts with the left tackle, Nick Moore. Got multiple offers to the Naval Academy and Army. So he knows how to play football. You know that has a really high football IQ. So again, they have to dominate on the front side on the offense tonight in order to have any chance of getting through and putting points up on the board. And then for Ross, keep moving on offense. With Brayden Fraasman back there and the way they've been able to distribute the ball out to their running backs and run this triple option offense, the biggest thing for them on offense, they can't move backwards, only positive plays, because that's what really stops a triple option is penalties, fumbles, anything like that. So you have to play discipline on offense, and then you got to play sound defense. You cannot play. They gave up some big plays last week to Brayden. That's one of the keys that you can't do, especially against a team like Northwest that has weapons. Coach Cummins was really nervous about the weapons that they have here tonight. So if Ross does that, and with this offense that they run, they'll have a great success here. And while we got some time here as we were waiting for the Rams to burst through on this night out, and of course we saw a youth night here celebration prior to the ball game. Let's give you the starting lineups, and we'll start with the Ross Rams offense. They're at 3-1. They're the 10th ranked team in the state in the Division III. Their head coach is Kenyon Cummins. In his 5th year, 25-20, 11-12 in the SWOC overall in those years. Their quarterback is number 7, Brayden Fraasman, at 6'2", 205 pounds, a senior. He's 8 for 17 this year for 47% passing, 141 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception, a rating of 143.8. He's also run the ball 76 times for 489 yards, 7 touchdowns, but he's fumbled the ball 4 times. The running back is a sophomore, 15, Riley Caldwell. The tight end is 43, Ryan Imes. 3 wideouts in the Ross offense. It's number 2, Aiden Brown. Actually, I say 3 wideouts. It's 2 wingbacks and a wideout. See, this is what I get for a bad vision. 2 wingbacks, number 2, Aiden Brown, and number 4, Jay Warren. And the wide receivers, 23, Kellen Reed. Up front, it's number 62, the left tackle, Trace Kirby. The left guard is 66, Jordan Deathridge. 71 is Landon Herman, he's the center. 61 is Cade Tatum, the right guard, and the right tackle is 78, Justin Pence.
The Northwest Knights on defense, 3-2 their record. Lee Johnson is their head coach in his 6th year, 22-32, 11-18 in his career in the SWOC. It's a 43 defense for the Knights. The defensive ends are number 8, DeJuan Carter, and number 11, Colby Reynolds. The tackles are number 56, Zion Willis, and number 9, Jaquan Weathersby. The linebackers are number 2, Kamari Fry, 14, Justin Crane, and 20, LaShawn Dickerson, as you see the Rams come to the near sideline. The cornerbacks are 21, Will McCormick, and number 23, Nate Love. The free safety is number 1, Jamari Thrasher, and the strong safety is 42, Noah Calvin. And we got just about another minute here, so we'll go ahead and, we're going to see as we see the assemblage out on the field. One thing that you have to be sure, when looking at a clock, don't always trust the clock. Trust the players on the field because they know if they're going to go first.
Well, they got a lot of action going on here tonight in Ross. Youth football night, youth cheerleading night, and Coach Cummins said they had over 200 kids in their youth football program. That's awesome. You're able to have that and able to celebrate them here tonight, man.
The Northwest Knights will receive when we get this started. They'll go left to right and attack the north end zone. Darion Montgomery is the quarterback, wearing number 4. 5'10", 178 pounds, a senior. 18 for 30 this year for 60%. 315 yards through the air, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, a rating of 196.5. He's run the ball 82 times for 617 yards and 7 touchdowns. So we're about ready to get the opening kickoff here from the barn in Ross. Glad to have you along here on Chatterbox Plus. The young man who will kick things off is Sully Spencer, 5'9", 185 pounds, a junior. Double kick returners on the near side, and away we go here from Ross. It pinwheels to the middle of the field from the 10. Out to the 20, down the middle to the 30, and nearly broke away. A good return out on that far sideline for 19, Lorenzo Vernon, one of the starting free safeties.
Well, you saw the speed and you saw the weapons right there for Northwest early on in this game. You know, I will say one thing, good job by Ross playing discipline there. They had their safety back there on their kickoff return team. That is what he's meant to do right there. So good job doing his job on the kickoff team for Ross.
So they'll place the ball officially at the 31-yard line. We had mentioned Darion Montgomery is the quarterback. 3 wideouts, Kamari Fry, De'Avion Perkins, and Jalen Martin. Jamari Thrasher is the H-back. Caleb Jones is the running back, and we'll wait to give you the rest of the starters after this initial play. So we get things started with big-time sun in our eyes as we face the Westview. Triples to the bottom of your screen, and the quarterback gets a man in motion, and it's a little end around to the near side. Good yardage. Jamari Thrasher, the H-back, lining up on a wing to the left. He came south and gained some good yardage behind the right tackle, Jabril Bradford. On the left side is Nick Moore. TJ Johnson and Tyrese Johnson are the guards. Tim Montgomery is the center, and we'll give you the defensive starters for the Rams after this play. It's 2nd and 1 after a pickup of 9. And here's Caleb Jones with his first carry out the left side. I don't think he got much of anything, partner.
No, it doesn't look like he stretched it out just a little too far there. Good job by the Rams defense playing contain on that back side. Tell you what, one thing I'm noticing there, they were in that 3-3-5 defense. We saw him against Brayden.
Richie Jackson makes a stop on Caleb Jones, who's just a sophomore, a year ahead of schedule, and we'll tell you a little bit more about Caleb as we go. They'll give him forward progress for a yard, 1st and 10 at the 41. Quarterback keeping. And he lost the ball out at the 45-yard line. Ross says they have it. And the defensive starters are going to have to wait just a moment for a drive on the turnover.
right there early on. I've noticed, one thing we were talking about with Coach Cummins early on is that they went to a 3-3-5 defense against Brayden. They actually wanted to save that for Dayton Dunbar. That game got canceled. He was talking about how they'll go back to the 50, more this week, but right there, all plays right there, they were in that 3-3-5 defense. So very interesting. That turned up the turnover. So obviously working well for Coach Myers, the defensive coordinator for Ross.
Excellent field position for Kenyon Cummins boys, and the quarterback again, as we had mentioned at the top, Brayden Fraasman. And they go to that triple option offense. Here comes the end around. Out to the 40-yard line goes to Aiden Brown. So Aiden had played a little bit of quarterback to start the year, threw the ball 3 times in the first game, has not thrown the ball since.
Yeah, and they'll use him in different ways throughout the offense. He's a dynamic player. When you got that, you can put him in different situations for Ross.
After a pickup of 6, it's second down, and they're on schedule. They motion Brown again. Instead, they give to the short man for a couple of yards off left tackle behind the big man out there, Trace Kirby.
Number 20, LaShawn Dickerson.
And
the stop of number 15, sophomore Riley Caldwell.
So Riley Caldwell, who we got a chance to meet and talk with over at Eli's back on Tuesday, got the carry, and it's 3rd and short, 3rd and 2. The flexbone offense. And the quarterback keeping, pitching. And looked like the ball might have come out at the bottom of the pile, nothing doing, and it looks like it's a first down for Ross.
Number 4 takes.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty close there. It's hard to see from my angle, especially with this glare, if that ball did pop out. But nonetheless, we're able to fall forward. That's one of the big things I kind of mentioned as my key to the game. No backwards plays for Ross tonight. So got to keep our eye on that. They really got to hone in on holding on to that football all night long.
So Jay Warren got the touch. He got the first down for the Rams, and they moved the chains. 1st and 10 at the 33. And motion on the line, and boy, the big hog mileys up front wanted to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, they were a little anxious right there. Jeff just jumped off sides and invaded that neutral zone. Gotta maintain your water. That's what we used to tell them down there. Hold your water until you see that football move.
By the way, the man in the white hat tonight, the referee, is Dale Goodwin. Tony Berry's the umpire. The head linesman is Roger Hall. Tom Mooring is the line judge, and the back judge is Sean Burns. Game time temperature tonight, 71 degrees, 44% humidity, winds south-southwest at about 5 miles per hour. Again, the sleight of hand and nothing doing as they go right up the middle to Caldwell for short yardage. So Riley Caldwell, we got a chance to talk with him over at Eli's on Tuesday. Good young man, a little ahead of schedule right now, just a sophomore. In fact, both teams have starting running backs who are sophomores tonight.
I mean, that's awesome that they're able to have that type of talent and honestly be able to trust their players, a sophomore, to go in there and perform night in and night out like they have for Ross and for Northwest.
And again, motion off the right end, and it looked like it might have been DeJuan Carter. Hard for us on this side to see if that was 8 or 9. If it's 8, it's DeJuan Carter.
I think it might be. He's coming out of the game. Northwest defensive line just kind of got to, find the brake pedal on the left, take a step back. Or if I'm the coaching point on that, would be, hey, I want you guys to take a half a step back off the football, watch the football, and, go from there. But great job by Ross. They're running that hard count. That's tough.
1st and 10 at the 23. And the quarterback keeping. Fraasman on his feet to the 15. Finds an angle to the 10. Out to the 5. It's 1st and goal coming up for Ross.
Well, right there you see the running ability of Brayden Fraasman. I mean, he's shown it all year long. And the way this kid runs and the power that he has, he just drug, 4 or 5 guys with him for an extra 4 or 5 yards.
And we're now in the Cincinnati Reds red zone. For breaking news and behind-the-scenes content, follow the Reds on social. If you're on Twitter, go to @Reds. 1st and goal from the 5-yard line. Quarterback giving, it's Caldwell for a couple. And you had mentioned from a week ago when they played Brayden that they put up the ball 9 times in that game. We have not seen the ball hit the air once.
Well, hey, right now, if it ain't broke, don't fix it if you're Coach Cummins. And, right now the run is working for him here. See what they can do on the goal line.
Caldwell's the focal point behind Fraasman. And they motion Brown, and they have 2 men moving at the same time. Brown moved into the backfield, and it was Caldwell moving out as almost an H-back to the left.
One thing I'm noticing they're running is that hard count. That's why you got to see them get those, 2 offsides penalties on Northwest. Kind of, shot themselves in the foot right there with it. But that's the kind of the discipline I was talking about earlier. That's the one thing this offense can't have. You just went from having a reasonable 2nd and 2, now it's 2nd and 7. That's tough in this triple option offense.
Singles to each side. And they go full house behind Fraasman. And Fraasman will keep. Off the left side, finds the angle, 6-0 Ross. On a 7-yard scamper for Brayden Fraasman.
Number 7, senior Brayden Fraasman.
His 8th score of the year.
Oh, we talked about it earlier, and, we saw it right there. The power that he has to run the football and the way he runs the football, that's the key. The way he's able to get in there and find the hole and have vision to get in and get into the end zone for us. Just, a great all-around athlete. Coach Cummins talked about him on Tuesday night that, hey, he is a complete football player, and you just showed it right there.
Chase Newmeyer powers it through 7-0. So a good start for the Rams as they complete a 7-play drive that goes 45 yards, capped off by Fraasman. A 7-yard scamper off the left edge. Point after by Newmeyer, good. Brand new score here in Ross, 7-0.
When you saw right there, Jeff, in that drive, that's what the triple option is meant to do. Methodically, down the field. It's not necessarily you're going to get those 10-yard pops. It's going to be the 3, 4, 5-yard pops that just, drive that defense down. And then especially when they can work in the quick count and the hard count like they did, they got 10 free yards right there alone in that drive from drawing Northwest offside. So when you're able to do that with all the capabilities with inside the triple option, they might not need to throw tonight.
By the way, that was a beauty sunset view that we got from our videographer tonight, Cam Kalin. Our producer is Art Funk, along with the rookie, Kevin Zilch. I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us here on Chatterbox Plus. Week 6 action, and it's the first conference game of the year. We had mentioned Ross at 3-1, Northwest at 3-2. So both teams just trying to make sure that they're off to good footing here in Week 6 to start the conference. Newmeyer pinwheels this towards the goal line, and this one will be taken at the 2. Return man to the 10. Angles out to the sideline. Has some decent yardage for a moment out there.
Number 21, Will McCormick.
So Will McCormick makes a stop.
Junior Jack Hansel. There's a flag on the play.
See what defense they come out here. One interesting thing we talked about, Coach Cummins said, Coach Myers, the defensive coordinator for Ross, he has, total autonomy over this defense. It's his ship to run. Coach Cummins is really hands-off. I think what he's saying, I don't understand defense. Just go tackle the guy. How hard can it be? So, he's given full autonomy to this. And, right now they're going back to that 3-3-5, and it looks like they're going to continue with that here maybe.
Well, you have a hold, by the way, on this one, so they'll back this one up. So I mentioned Will McCormick on the stop. Obviously, he was the ball returner. And the ball will be placed over at inside the 10, out to the 8-yard line. So a big hole to climb out of and a deficit here for Lee Johnson and his young men here tonight from Northwest. It's Montgomery straight ahead for a few. Let's give you the defense for the Ross Rams since they got a turnover so early on. We didn't get a chance to give the starters. Cole Deersing, Derek Rack, and Will Schroeder up front. And out on the wings, Austin Ferris and Bryson Baston. Brendan Sevier and Josh Botts are the linebackers in a 52 defense. The defensive backs, Jack Hansel, Dylan Hammonds, Richie Jackson, and Kyle Becker. Second down, and we'll call it 7. And off the left wing for a first down and more. Out to the 30, and a hell of a scamper for the quarterback, Darion Montgomery, who runs the ball incredibly well. 617 yards to lead the conference coming into the season.
And he just saw it right there. Ran behind the big guy, his left tackle, Nick Moore, going. He's got offers right now, Marshall, Navy, and Army, and Wofford. Really high-level academic schools. You just saw the smart play by his offensive line right there. That's what Ross has got to figure out a way to stop Montgomery here.
So after the big chunk play, they'll give it to the running back, Caleb Jones, for a minimal yardage. I want to talk a little bit more about Montgomery for a little bit. So a week ago, hell of a game against Alter. 13 for 18 for 208 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. He also ran the ball 23 times for 69 yards. That's a lot of Montgomery.
Well, and one thing I noticed with him, and granted he had 4 touchdowns last week, but he doesn't turn the ball over that much. Only 1 interception on the year, so he knows how to take care of the football for Northwest. And when you can combine those 2, and actually those 3 factors with his running game, he's a special athlete. It just needs to all come together for the Northwest offense now.
So running again behind Nick Moore was the quarterback. And Ferris makes a stop for the Ross Rams with 5:26 and counting here in this first. Here's the quarterback again, who's got a first down. And a flag coming in at the end of the play. So some extracurriculars. You wonder if it's a late hit. From our vantage point, we were covered up by the entirety of the line, so we'll have to sort out the call.
Number 4.
Yeah, a little hard to see from our vantage point there. But one thing I'm noticing, when you have this 3-3-5 defense, one thing that you have to be very careful of is you have to maintain contain on both sides of the football. And there's about 3 plays in a row right there that Ross has kind of lost contain on that side. So that means your outside linebackers, they got to be looking more outside and to keep the ball player inside out. So that's something they're going to have to figure out here to maintain contain.
They'll tack on to the end of the run, a personal foul call. And the referee, Dale Goodwin, calling for an official stop. Mount Healthy's at the top of the pack in the SWOC this year, 4-1. Ross falling right behind him at 3-1. Northwest at 3-2. Edgewood is at 2-2. It's Harrison at 1-3, along with Talawanda in a 6-team league. And out of the timeout, with 5:18 to go, Darion Montgomery in the shotgun with triples to the near side. He'll motion a man and give a handoff. And Ross snuffs it out, but a good sleight of the hand and a good stop for a loss.
Number 13, De'Avion Perkins, brought down.
So Perkins got the end around, and a great bit of stop. Derek Rack coming on in to make the stop for a loss.
Well, I just was talking about how they need to maintain contain, and they did it right there. Great job. We call that the pursuit that the Ross defense had on that play. They stretched it into the boundary, so it actually turned out to be a loss of a half a yard. Great job there by Ross.
Quarterback keeping. He's got room out to the 20, inside the 20-yard line, and close to a first down. A pickup of 15.
Number 4, Darion Montgomery.
So Darion Montgomery puts Northwest into the Cincinnati Reds red zone for the first time tonight. For breaking news and behind-the-scenes content, follow the Reds on social. Go to @Reds on Twitter. They'll spot the ball officially at the 20. Nearly a bad handoff, but a good recovery for Jones. Off left tackle for a few yards. The first one in there was Tyler Ondrovich, who we didn't call in the starting lineup, coming in as a switch out. 6'1", 185 pounds, a junior outside linebacker.
55, Frank Gifford, and number 2.
And Caleb Jones, 333 yards on the ground so far this year. You saw the speed that he has and the way he moves his feet. He keeps his feet moving in there, Jeff, and that's why he's able to find those holes like he kind of did right there.
Triples to the top side, and Montgomery will disdain. Has the edge out to the 10, to the 5, inside the 10, first and goal coming up.
Number 4, Darion Montgomery, brought down by number 3. Senior
Dylan Hammond's on the stop, and he kept him out of the end zone with 3:44 to play here in this opening quarter. So punch for punch, both teams responding very well here in this opening period. It's Montgomery with triples to the top side, to his left. He'll keep. Into the pile, to the goal line. No signal as of yet. Neither the heads linesman nor the linesman on the other side calling for it. He's just short.
Linesman on this side actually kind of put his hands up for a hot second, then brought him down. It was very, very close, and now they're calling a touchdown, I think.
And looks like a touchdown.
Yeah, interesting.
Well, a delayed call. You want to talk about delays of a delay. as Montgomery punches out on in from a couple yards out. Northwest, point after away from tying this one up. Place kicker is Nathan Whites. Hold of Thrasher, and it's off Thrasher's hands. They don't have to dive on it, and it's still a lead for the Rams.
And the point after attempt is no good. Puts your score.
Well, that will be interesting to see if that doesn't come into play later on, especially with the way these two teams were able to run the ball up and down on each other's defense like that. That one single point right there, man, pay attention to that come down in the second half.
11-play drive that chews up 92 yards. It takes up 2 minutes and 45 seconds to punch in by Montgomery, but the point after was muffed by the holder, and the brand new score here at Ross is 7-6.
Think we're going to see a pass tonight, Jeff?
I'm thinking that you and I and Art and our videographer Cam are going to be out of here by about 9 o'clock. Have a very early dinner for us on a Friday night.
I'll take it, man. I'll take it. I mean, my goodness gracious. I mean, both teams just absolutely running the football up and down each other. For Ross on defense, they have to figure out the contained situation. All right, right now that 3-3-5, it worked for them on the first drive. But I think Northwest, what they figured out is, hey, we're going to attack the edge. And that's what they did in that drive right there. So for Ross, you got to figure out a scheme now, a way to get your players in a better position to maintain, contain. And then, honestly, you got to figure out a way to stop Darian Montgomery right now. Right now, he is the lone running back that is doing all the work for Northwest. So they got to figure out those two things very quickly. Otherwise, it'll be an interesting night here.
Here's the kick away. Up the right side, flag on the play to the 30, out to the 35-yard line goes Aiden Brown, but we'll have to see what the flag is. Given the location, you're thinking holding.
Holding or blocking the back. I saw number 22 for Northwest down here, Aiden Felix. I think that might have been him, but it looks like they... No, you're right, Jeff. Look at you. Oh, blocking the back. I thought he was going hold.
So they'll back him up, and just like Northwest on the last drive, who matriculated down the field for a long drive, it'll be a long distance on this one here as they'll place the ball on the far hash mark at the 16-yard line. Well, the scoreboard says 17. We'll go with that. So they'll need 83 yards to get to pay dirt. They motion Brown, and they give to the short man up the middle for minimal yards. Right into the teeth of the defense is Caldwell. And a good job on the other side. Kamari Fry came up, flashing to there and helped make the stop.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, a great job there by Northwest. But again, you know, this is what Ross wants to do. Chunk those yards out. Extend this game. Keep that offense and Darian Montgomery on the bench.
They motion the tight end to the left side. And that's Ryan Imes, who got a touchdown pass last week against Brayden. And they go up short, and it'll be 3rd and short coming on up. Ryan Imes had gotten a touchdown a week ago on a little bootleg right against Brayden. I don't think Brayden was quite ready for it, because when they saw him go to the end zone, they gave him some room.
Yeah, you know, he was kind of almost wide open in the end zone there. So, you know, I wonder if you're going to see that play. When are we going to see that here tonight, Jeff? Really curious. But right now, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Another offsides.
They motion Warren, and that motion is giving right now that defensive front for Northwest a whole bunch of problems.
And I think what it is, you know, what I'm noticing with Ross is, and I love the jumps, the shifts, and the trades, because what you're doing is you're making their defense think about anything but the football. Oh my gosh, you know, that tight end shifted over. I got to switch my strength now. You know, now they're orbiting back over. Where's the strength of the defense? And then boom, you snap the football. So that's why you do those type of things. I love doing that.
So it's an automatic first down as they move the ball to the 27. They motion Brown. They come to the left side. They pitched Brown. Out to the 30. Has space out on the sideline. Nice spin and still on his feet to the 40, to the 45. And a hell of a move up to the field, out to the 49-yard line. A pickup of 22 for Aiden Brown.
I mean, my goodness, Jeff, that was one of the most impressive spin moves I've ever seen. He got the controller somewhere. I think that's the circle button, right?
Circle button.
Yeah. Wow, what a run.
So he actually used the sideline to his advantage, spinning back in with that O button, if you will, that circle button. And he moves the chains. 1st and 10 at the 49. They motion Warren. They pitch to Warren. He's got some space. He cuts back across the 50, out to the 45. The ball came out at the end, but it's covered up again. So some butterfingers here early on for Jay Warren, who let the ball go on the first drive.
Yeah, that was very close. Thank goodness that he had a player right there, ready to catch the football, because that could have been disastrous for Ross. But they're keeping the drive going. One thing I've noticed, they're going a lot to the edge now. Before they were kind of pile driving it inside. We used to call that stovepiping the football up in there. Now, they're definitely a lot more motion in the backfield and a lot more edge play. Here we go again.
Here's the pitch out. Riley Caldwell off the left side, up the seam for a couple of yards.
So, we call that BYOB, be your own blocker, okay? And you're going to have that when you get out in this space, especially when you run this offense. You're going to get the ball to a guy, and look, there's not going to be a lead blocker anywhere. You're going to get out there, pitch the ball, and you got to be your own blocker there.
3rd down, I know we've seen a couple of third downs, but 43% this year for the Ross Rams on 3rd down. With 10 seconds to play, Brown's in a slot to the right. They motion Warren into the backfield. And they will not get the playoff. Or actually they will. Fraasman, right before the gun, gets about a yard, and he's awfully close to the 1st down. I think it's going to be a little short. But in any case, we have come to the end of one period. And after one period, it is 7-6 in favor of the Ross Rams. This is Week 6 here on Chatterbox Plus. 12 minutes in the book here from Ross. Along with Kevin Zilch, I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us for Week 6. The opening week of SWOC action here on Chatterbox Plus. Good one so far, a 1-point affair, a missed point after attempt. Actually, there was no point after attempted. It was a mishandle by the holder, and that's why we have the 1-point difference.
So we're just talking about it. This is going to be an interesting call here for Coach Cummins' offense. And I'll tell you what, on that last play, on that 3rd down play, that was a broken play. He actually turned, the running back went to the wrong side, or the quarterback went to the wrong side for all I know. But looks like here we go. We're going to go for it right now, Jeff.
Out of the flex bone, here's Fraasman under center. He will dive for it and then gets a big push up front for a 1st down. Out to the 40-yard line goes Fraasman.
Good job getting up to the line. Used the quick count to his advantage. Snapped it really quickly there. They will get the 1st down for Rams.
Running right behind Landon Herman, the center at 6'3", 300 pounds, the senior.
Yeah, that's a big boy. And really, what made it there when you got the push is you're able to pinch down with the 2 guards, Jordan Deathridge and Kadem Tatum. When you're able to get that pinch on the nose right there, you're able to slide up in.
Quarterback was having a hard time deciding whether he was in a pitch or give, and then now we've got some extracurriculars at the end. Some, I don't want to say hurt feelings, but it looked like big number 9, Jaquan Weathersby. He was a big load out there at 5'11", 237. He's the leading sack guy, or he's one of the leading sack guys on this team, 2.5 sacks so far on the year. So a little extracurriculars, but no foul call.
The Rams at the 38-yard line.
Sure, short pickup, and we come up on 2nd and 8 as we melt a minute off the clock here in the 2nd. Again, out of the flex bone goes Brown, and again motion, and again flags. So dirty laundry, the issue here, but this time it goes against Ross.
Yeah, and that's exactly, we talked about it earlier, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, but that's what kills this offensive momentum right there, because you just went from having a 2nd and 5, now you're into 2nd and 13. So when you keep backing yourself up like that, that just destroys this type of offense. It's not meant for that.
Coming up at the half, just before the start of the 3rd quarter, we'll be joined by Ross High School Athletic Director Jake Richards. He's going to tell us about what else is going on, and not just about football, here at the school this fall season. 2nd and 13. Twins to the bottom of your screen. As they motion Warren into the backfield. Quarterback keeping maybe a yard, and good penetration that time. And look at Weathersby chased it down from behind.
Of number 7,
Yeah, he's been all over the field here tonight, Jeff. I mean, he's just one of those kids that is able to read the football and gets to where he needs to get to very quickly. I've also noticed he's very disciplined in the way he plays. He stays at home, doesn't over-penetrate, sits back at the line of scrimmage and makes the tackle. All too often you see guys that they go over-penetrate. We call that play, you got to play heel depth at the line of scrimmage. Does a great job of that.
Let's see what they dial up on 3rd and 10 as they go in a pyramid to the right, triples. Out of the shotgun is Fraasman. He'll run out of that package. Jump cut into the line. You don't see that very often in a 3-yard gain.
No, you don't. But with the Ross Rams, one thing I'm noticing is that's a lot of backside penetration. You'll see it here on the replay. And, you know, that's one of the things that you're going to see coming all the way from the backside, chasing him down. I'm going to keep an eye on that here because that's another thing that when you try to run outside, that will destroy that backside penetration. So they gotta shore some things up here right now on offense. It's gone a little backwards for Ross.
So on 4th downs this year, Ross is 5 for 11. That's 45.5%. Let's see what they dial up on 4th and 6 out of the flex bone. They motion Brown into the backfield and they go I. And it goes to Caldwell off the tackle into space out to near the 20-yard line. He has the first down. That was unexpected. A pickup of 14.
Well, right there, that's what you get, and we'll see it again on the replay right here. You know, it's the quick hitting. You get to the line of scrimmage quick, and it's the quick hitter. Boom, right off tackle, left side. He finds the hole, plants his foot, gets downfield. Great job there by the offensive line for Ross, especially on the left side there. Trace Kirby, Jordan Detheridge, getting great push on there. But again, great job by Brayden Fraasman getting up to the line quickly and snapping the football.
They go twins to the near side, and the give to the short man. It's Caldwell for a couple of yards. Riley Caldwell, we had mentioned him in the pregame and obviously here in the opening minutes of this one. One of the things I did want to get a chance to talk about is, and it's not just with Riley, but with some of his teammates, they might be the all flow club, right? I mean, Riley had this big, this hair that was just gorgeous, and this quarterback Brayden Fraasman, the same. He kind of had this. I don't want to insult him by calling him Trevor Lawrence, but it was a similar vein in that haircut. And Jay Warren had a nice bit on his head, too. Here's Brown with the ball off the little screen pass. Doesn't go much of anywhere. Inside the 20, out to about the 17-yard line. So a pickup of 3 on the first legit pass we've seen all night.
Hey, with only 7 minutes left to go before halftime right there. That was the very first one. Right now we were talking about Brayden Fraasman. I'll give you a quarterback who's got great hair. Sunshine from Remember the Titans? Remember him? He had that flow working as well.
I have to tell you, that's a movie that I did not get to see.
Really?
Yeah. They run I out of that, and then now here's Fraasman, who is swallowed up, and great penetration out there.
Number 2, Kamari Fry.
DeJuan Carter was out there, and so was Weathersby.
For the Knights, team up to bring down.
Another 4th down here. This is the second one that they're going to have to try and convert on this drive alone, Jeff. They're 45% on the year. That's good, and that's not great, but that's good. You want to be as close to or above 50% as you can get, especially midway through the season right now.
Well, 4th downs are circumstantial. We've got an official time out here, or actually just a little stoppage here, as they bring in 22, Brennan Severe, who plays on the defensive side of the ball quite a bit, starts over at the linebacker spot. We already saw him once. We didn't get a chance to call him his name as a wideout. So he's in this package as the substitution's complete. So a critical 4th and 4 at the 16-yard line, and a big opportunity for Northwest to change the plays. And they're going to give the dummy count, a delayed count. And now what do we have?
Timeout. Looks like Coach Cummins did not like what he saw there. Didn't like the matchup at least. And it looks like, I think he's calling for PAT right now. Yeah, I think he's going to call for a field goal.
So the ball's at the 16-yard line. That would be a 33-yard attempt for what looks like it'll be for Jace Newmeyer, who we've seen on kickoffs and in the point after. While we have a moment, if your AC or furnace is struggling, turn to the experts at Bartell's Heating and Cooling. Their certified technicians get the job done right the first time. And if you need a new unit, Bartell's will give you upfront pricing with no hidden fees. Plus, ask about Bartell's 0% interest financing for 60 months. Learn more at bartellsheatingandcooling.com. Bartell's Heating and Cooling for a comfortable way of life.
Athletic trainer.
Out of the timeout, it's 4th down, and it's good snap to place. The kick is away and good.
Colton Cummins with the snap. Aiden Brown with the hold. And Sully Spencer.
So Sully Spencer gets the field goal from 32 yards out. 10-6 is your brand new score here at Ross.
You know, interesting there by Coach Cummins, not going forward on 4th down. I think he was like, you know what, I got the kicker that can make this. I'll take the points right now, get an even bigger lead up on Northwest. So, you know, really right now that failed point after touchdown now really kind of comes into play further on down the game now for Northwest and for Ross. You know, that's something that they can kind of play into a little bit if you're Coach Cummins. So, you know, good. Yeah, that was strategic right there. I'm sure that he had coaches in on the headphones saying, "Hey, go for it here, coach." And he said, "You know what? We're going to take the points where we can get them first half, and we'll work it from there." Because they had already completed two 4th downs already on that drive.
That was a 13-play drive that soaked up 8.5 minutes. Spencer with the field goal to make it 10-6. Spencer will kick it away, and this one will get into the end zone for the touchback.
Sully Spencer's kick goes into the end zone for a touchback.
Tell you what, when you got a kicker that can kick it into the end zone for a touchback every single time, whew, that's a godsend. We used to have that with Max Mather at Loveland. I mean, it was so nice not to have to worry about it. You know what I mean? If you can just do that every single time. But for Northwest right now, see what they can do with them. You know, they had a very nice methodical drive the last time we saw them out. It seems like forever ago now, but we'll see what they can do here.
Coming up at the half, just before the start of the 3rd quarter, we'll be joined by Ross High School Athletic Director Jake Richards. As we get back to action, a 4-point ball game, and coming to the near side is a sophomore running back and a flag at the end of the play. So we'll have to sort this one out as Caleb Jones picked up good yardage on 1st down. So Severe on the stop, but let's wait to see what the play or what the flag is.
Gonna think it's gonna be holding on the edge. I think number 13, Davion Perkins for Northwest. Yeah. You know, that's hard when you're out there one-on-one as a receiver. You're not necessarily used to blocking, although they pretty much should be with the way they've had to run the football this year. But, yeah, you got to keep your hands inside. And I did kind of see his hand get on the outside. Anytime a referee sees a hand on the back or on a number, they're going to call that.
So they're going to place the ball at the 16-yard line first, and we'll call it 14. They shift on the line. And they give to the sophomore again, and this time they stop him. A play right up the gut, right into the teeth of that defense. First met out there by Derek Rack.
Well, we talked about it, and I think all the defensive linemen right there, you know, they played heel depth. We talked about it for Northwest, and now Rams did a great job there. That's something they really were struggling with early on. Now I'm going to see if Northwest comes back to the edge plays that they had so much success with early on.
Loss of one. They give to the sophomore again. Nowhere to go. No gain on the play.
Number 16, Caleb Jones.
Austin Ferris, the edge linebacker on the stop.
Austin Ferris.
Austin Ferris, another one of those players that flies all over this Rams defense. They're still in that 3-3-5. See what they do here to try and contain this Northwest offense.
And the pass play out to the sideline. And nowhere to go. Another loss on the play. Jamari Thrasher gets his first catch, but it's a loss of 3 on the play.
You know, interesting play call there, Jeff. You know, I'm curious what the premise of that was. A screenplay on 3rd and long. You would think you'd want to gain as much yardage as you can, so you're not backed up here. Yeah, just that's a strange play call in that type of situation for Northwest, especially, you know, when you're in a pretty close ball game here. I'm thinking I'm having at least one route go to the first down marker or something.
Well, he was out there in space, not much of a screen at all.
Yeah. Oh.
Here's the punt. It's a low liner that they're going to walk away from as far as the Ross Rams are concerned. So Jay Warren will not have an attempt on this one. And this will take a nice roll based off a tough punt to start off with out to the 45. So 32 yards, nothing on the return. And it's 1st and 10 with 4:21 left to go.
Well, I'll tell you what, off the edge there for Ross, I think it was number 22, Brendan Severe, excuse me, coming off the edge. One thing, if I'm noticing that, if I'm Ross's coach, hey, he's got to take a more direct line. If he sprints, he's going to have a punt block here tonight.
You go up top, even with a team that doesn't go up top?
I'll tell you what, if there's a time to do it, it'd be right now.
And the roll right by Fraasman. He has the corner to the 40, cuts back out to the 35. He has a 1st down and more. Still on his feet, getting a rugby scrum to push him forward inside the 25. That is a hell of an effort for the whole team for the Ross Rams.
Well, I'll tell you what, the quarterback, Brayden Fraasman, with the huge block on that play. My goodness. I love it when a quarterback gets in there and gets physical like that. I mean, just an awesome job all around by the offense and him dragging him down there, keeping those feet turning.
A week ago against Brayden, he had run the ball 20 times for 9 yards and fumbled twice. So this is a stark improvement, obviously. Now, keep in fact that they did play the number 1 team in the region, but this is a stark improvement from a week ago. 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line. And the pitch back and a little trickeration as Brown had got it, the snap, and gave on the pitch to Fraasman. Haven't seen that one before.
So I guess, do we call that the Wildcat then? I don't know if you run a Wildcat into triple option. I don't know. I've never seen it run like that. But, hey, I love what Coach Cummins is doing, though. Something different, you know what I mean? Sometimes that's what you got to do. You know, they're taking some shots, taking some chances, running some different things right now.
Well, we did say at the top of the broadcast that Brown did take snaps at quarterback in week 1. And they now move Fraasman back to quarterback and Brown's to his left. 2nd and 8. And they'll give it to the left side. It's Brown up the middle, out to the 5-yard line. He nearly got away. A pickup of 15. 1st and goal coming up.
The center, Landon Herman, just gets a big block on that play right there. Just absolutely manhandles the Northwest defensive line. You can tell right now Northwest is tired. You know, they got their hands on the hips. They're sucking in air right now. So if I'm Ross, taking advantage of that right now. My coach is in the box telling me that. That's what I'm doing.
Jamari Thrasher, the last man to stop him. It's 1st and goal from the 5-yard line. Single wide to the top, and they motion Brown, and they give to Caldwell. Off left tackle. He's in. 16-6 on a 5-yard scamper off left side by Caldwell.
15, sophomore Riley Caldwell.
So Caldwell gets his 4th of the year to cap off the drive with 2:50 left to go, and it's a 2-score lead here in this one.
Oh, man, what a drive. What a drive, Jeff. Exactly what the doctor ordered for Ross. That's exactly what they needed. They got the ball in great field position, had a great play on 1st down, got a great drive, a great pickup, and then into the end zone. I mean, just all around fantastic drive for Ross. Coach Cummins has to be very happy they got those points on the board. Uh-oh.
And they mishandle on the snap, and nothing doing here. So turnabout has been fair play, maybe on that north end of the end zone as Aiden Brown mishandled it off the hold. And it's still 16-6 with 2:50 left to play. That drive officially took up 4 plays, 45 yards. It took off a minute and a half off the board, capped off by the Caldwell touchdown run. Point after, no good on the mishandle by the holder. And the brand new score here in Ross is 16-6.
Well, I guess, that evens up the missed extra point by Northwest there that I was talking about. So that kind of negates that, least common denominator, cancels each other out there. But, you might want to check that turf down there on that side. That's the second missed handle we've had in this game down there.
Well, a little warm to say that there's a little condensation. Typically when we get the temperatures down into the 50s, you're thinking about a wet ball a little bit as the sun goes down. Not the case tonight. I mean, we have warm conditions, comfortable and dry conditions.
Yes.
In fact, game time temperature at 71 degrees, and, from the feel of it, as we have the open window in front of us, what are we in, maybe the mid-60s right now?
Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful right now. I don't know what it is, but it is football weather, man. Uh-oh.
We'll have to redo this. offsides against the kicking team.
Looks like offside.
Well, that's one thing that is very hard to coach. And I learned that as a special teams coordinator for Loveland. It's so hard to get your kickoff team timed up like that. I mean, it takes almost a full week of just not even kicking a football, just timing that up to get everybody timed out. Once you get it, though, and you start practicing it does become kind of like riding a bike. You get in the flow of it. Now then, injuries kind of, you always got to have those guys ready and, to go in there when an injury happens. But that is something really, really hard. And that's something a lot of people don't know, that is a very hard thing to coach and teach a group of, literally 10 guys to hit a mark at the same exact time, every time.
So the ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. For 3-1 Ross, the 10th-ranked team in the state in Division III. And a good end-over-end kick out to the 5-yard line. Return man to the 20. And out to the 23-yard line. So both teams kind of get what they want. In the case of Northwest, they get out past the 20. And you got a good kick that took the return team back to their own 5-yard line.
Yeah, we're see what happens right now from Northwest. They got to get some points on the board on this drive. 2:43 left to go before the half. Down by 10. Man, they need to get some points. Whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, doesn't matter. Got to get points on the board right now if you're Northwest out of this drive, because, this is going to be maybe the last drive before half.
Triplets to the near side. They go to the sophomore, and he's got a burst of speed into the secondary, a pickup of 8. A nice bit of running for Caleb Jones, who's, as we had mentioned, a year ahead of schedule. And this is the reason he was actually slated to be a backup on this team. The starting running back gets hurt in camp, and then he gets a starting nod and has run with the ball literally and figuratively ever since. The quarterback keeping for a first down.
What I'm impressed with, and you said it right there in that last play, the way he's able to change speed and that burst of speed that he has, this is going to be a special player for a long time here at Northwest.
Caleb is listed at 5'5", 157 pounds, and a sophomore. So if you know me, as they go to Jones again off the right side and a pickup of 5 as he works his way out the sideline. So if you personally know me, and Kev, you do, he is maybe about an inch shorter and maybe about 10 pounds less than me.
Oh, yeah, somewhere in there. I'll tell you what, though, you can probably run faster than him, though, right?
Triplets to the near side, and again, actually the quarterback keeping it this time. Gets a pretty good push into the linebacking core, and they're
Number 4, quarterback
on schedule at this point to bring up 3rd and short.
Very efficient right now. In the last 4 plays for Northwest, they are being very efficient. You said it right there. They are on schedule. They just got to manage the clock now with 2 timeouts left. 3.
And a timeout charge to Ross. We will keep it right here with 1:25 left to go here in this first half. Coming up at halftime, we'll show you the Ross Marching Band. We can't wait to get the sounds of the band, and that's been something that's been a welcome addition back to Chatterbox Sports here in 2021. We didn't see much, if at all, of it a year ago. And then coming up later in the half, we'll talk with the Ross AD, Jake Richards, who will tell us about other sports going on. I will tell you this, partner, I am particularly keen on girls soccer, and they've won 5 in a row. They've given up a total of, get this, 1 goal in all of September.
I'm not a soccer guy. I really don't know much about it, but my goodness, if you've given up only 1 goal this late in the season, it's got to be impressive, right?
Well, 1 goal in September.
In September, but still, that's got to be really impressive, right?
5-0-1, so
wow.
1 draw and 5 wins. In fact, 5 straight wins. So, they're doing, let's just say, very, very well out there, as Jessica Buhner's team is awfully, awfully good.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
3rd and 1 out of the timeout. Quarterback keeping, and nowhere to go. Great job in picking that up on the QB keeper by Bryson Baston, one of the linebackers.
Yeah, he sniffed that thing out from the get-go, and now big 4th down here. 1 minute left to go on the clock, or just about, for Northwest.
4th, and they'll still call it 1, dummy count, a long count, and they'll reset from the sideline. See what they dial up on 4th down. And they give to the sophomore, actually the keeper. So the sleight of hand by the quarterback as he had a great fake to Jones, and Montgomery kept it for the first down. They'll move the chains.
Great job on the play fake there for Northwest. Had me confused, had you confused, I think had the Ross Rams confused. Got picked up the first down. Now they just got to manage this clock under a minute now.
And through much of this drive, they've gone triples to the near side. And then they'll go twins now on each side. They'll look to pass on the right, and now the throw from Montgomery down the sideline, complete out of the 40-yard line.
He looked left and then went right, and I noticed the receivers down here weren't even looking back for the football, so I don't know if that was trying to get the Ross defense to go left, but my goodness, great play there, and here we go, Jeff. See if we can get some points on the board now for Northwest.
Out at the 39-yard line as they motion Thrasher. And the throw to the near side, too tall. Lorenzo Vernon, and this is the first time we've called his name, both a combination of wide receiver and a safety, 6'1". He would have needed to be 6'5" to get that one.
Yeah, that was a really high pass. Nobody was going to catch that one from Northwest. They do stop the clock, 20 seconds. Don't have to burn a timeout here. So, Coach Johnson, see what he has up his sleeve. He can get probably a couple more plays off, especially with the timeouts.
You can't take them to the locker room with you.
Yeah.
They've got a full complement right now. Just one left for the Ross Rams. They motion Thrasher again out to the near side, looking left, throwing, deep middle for Thrasher. He's got it! Touchdown! A beauty with 14 seconds left to go in the half. Mercy!
Wow. Oh, wow, Jeff. And one thing I got to compliment the offensive line for Northwest. He had all the time in the world to throw that football, and that allowed his receiver to get downfield and make just an unbelievable pass to exactly what they needed going into halftime. The Big Mo now shifts over to Northwest, heading to the locker room, Jeff.
6th touchdown pass of the year for Darion Montgomery, and he was right on time there to Thrasher, who came open in the deep middle. Well, that's what happens when you get a running start, correct?
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Love that. No, you're right, but that's what it does. The run game opens up the pass game. Always has and always will. They're going for 2 here, I think.
2nd touchdown receiving this year for Thrasher, his 3rd overall, and they will go for 2. Montgomery will keep. Off the edge, he has it.
And number 4, Darion Montgomery with a
He was right at the goal line, just managed to get through before his knees hit the ground, and with 14 seconds left to go, we got a brand new score at 16-14.
14 seconds to go in the half.
Just like that, like I said, the Big Mo, but what a pass play there. What a play call by Coach Johnson and his offensive staff to, say, hey, this is our opportunity. We were wondering when we were going to see that shot and when it was going to happen. Well, right there, and it was great timing. They needed a score on that play, and boom, they got it. In fact, they had really 2 good pass plays on that drive to set up the touchdown play.
9-play drive that goes 76 yards. It chews up 2 minutes and 29 seconds off the clock. The touchdown pass from Montgomery to Thrasher from 45 yards. And Montgomery scores a 2 to close it out and close Northwest to a 2-point ball game at 16-14. One of the things that we had talked about with Coach Johnson prior to the ball game is when they pass the ball, and they do run the ball very well, as we've seen here tonight, but when they throw with purpose. They want big chunk yards.
And that's what you saw right there. All the routes that they had were going downfield. There was no intermediate or no short routes except for the little screen passes that they've had. I'm not even sure you count those in the repertoire of the passing game. But again, you're right, Jeff. Getting the ball downfield is what they wanted to do tonight, and they've done it. And they've put themselves in a great position now going to halftime.
White's kick. And the return man from the 10, it's Brown. Angles to the near side, 25-30, up the seam, and he'll stop right there.
To the 30-yard line.
Drop down there by Colby Reynolds.
With 8 seconds
and we'll see if they take a knee and go to the locker room with this one.
Personally, that's probably what would be my move in this field position. If it was, better field position, closer to the 50-yard line, you might want to take a shot. You might be able, with 8 seconds left to go, and 3, and a timeout, get a big play, get a timeout, get a, field goal possibly. But that's just a little too risky right now, backed up where you are for Ross. but we'll see.
And they do go twins to the top side. And they will run a play. Fraasman will hold shop, just hold on to the ball and go nowhere. And we have evaporated time here in this first half. So an interesting game to be sure through 24 minutes, partner. And before we head to a break, 16-14 is your score. What about that finishing kick to end half number one for Northwest?
Yeah, that right there, that's a big one. And, just the big pass plays there at the end on those last drives from Northwest. And, hey, Jeff, this is the close ball game we've had all year, man. This is exciting.
It certainly is. A 2-point affair here in Ross. 16-14 in favor of the Rams. Back with our halftime show when we return here on Chatterbox Plus. Quick breakdown here as far as scoring is concerned. Scoring was started off by Brayden Fraasman. A 7-yard touchdown run, point after was good. That's been something that hasn't been something that we've come to expect here tonight. 7-0 with 7:01 left to go in the first. Then it was a Montgomery 2-yard touchdown run. The point after not good, 7-6. That came with 3:09 left to go in the first. A Spencer 32-yard field goal with 6:25 left to go in the second made it 10-6. Then 16-6 on a 5-yard Riley Caldwell touchdown run made it 16-6. And then the final score of the half, Thrasher, the pass from Montgomery from 45 yards out. The 2-point conversion from Montgomery, good. 16-14 is our score at halftime as we're rejoined by the rookie Kevin Zilch. Kevin, halftime break. Obviously, we were regaled by the theatrics of the Ross High School marching band and the fireworks show. They have been incredible hosts tonight.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, what a facility. I mean, you just see the crowd that they have here tonight. Coach Cummins and the athletic department and just the community, they are so behind this school. You can tell, I mean, from the youth football, they're running all over the place here. It's awesome. It is great to see the community come together like this for Ross. And you're right, Jeff. I mean, what hospitality we've been given here tonight.
Start of the second half coming up. And it's a low squibber up to one of the upmen at the 20-yard line, coming up to the 25-30 and up to the 35-yard line. And that's where we'll get the second half started. And it's powered by Cintas. Over 1 million businesses rely on Cintas. So get Cintas and get ready for the workday.
First and 10 at the 35-yard line.
Ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. We still see a little bit of smoke from the fireworks show. And again, that's not something that you expect to see at halftime of any football game, much less a high school football game. But yet here we are, and we really enjoyed a good one here at Ross.
Definitely caught me by surprise. I almost spilled my drink back there, man. I didn't know it was coming. I was going through scores.
The pitch out of the flex bone to Warren into space and had a moment where he looked like he was going to clear out. Good job picking up 5 yards and the stop out there by Lorenzen. I beg your pardon, LaShawn Dickerson.
Second down and 5 for the Rams at the 40-yard line.
Just running through some quick scores here. Just one score I want to throw out there. GMC, Coleraine 7, Middletown 6 at the start of the third. And then same score, LaSalle 7, Moeller 6 as well. We were pretty shocked by those two right there.
Very shocking. You'd expect more points to be scored. They motion Warren. They give to the upman Caldwell off right tackle for about a yard. So this one being played very tightly here. Now, we did see the big razzle-dazzle play to Thrasher to end things in the first half. You expect to see Northwest to open things up in half number 2.
It's yes and no. There's part of me that says, yeah, they had success. They know that they can get it down there. There's other part of me that says, hey, look, continue to play themselves. I go back to the Woody Hayes mentality. There's only 3 things that can happen on a pass play, and really only one of them is good. So, you got to balance it here, Jeff. But, you're right. You probably will see them take some more shots here in the second half.
On 3rd and 4, it's Fraasman under center. The give to Caldwell into space. Actually, it's Brown out to the 40. Swung down, and he's still on his feet to the 20-yard line. A hell of a run for Aiden Brown.
You'll see it on the replay right here. I mean, he is just able to power his way down the field. And when I say power, look at this run. You're going to get a great view of it right here. Spins off one tackle, keeps his feet, and keeps going. I mean, the strength that you have to have, Jeff, to do that is just unbelievable. You can tell that this kid has worked out in the offseason, put a lot of time and effort to what he's doing. Fantastic run for Ross.
Season high run of 40. Come in averaging about 3.5 yards a ball game per carry as they motion Brown, and they'll stop before they can roll to the left. And it's a false start against the offense.
Just so impressed with the strength he had, especially the arm strength. They were going after that football, man, and he was able to keep it nice and high and tight and, not fumble the football, especially when you got two guys batting it down. Whew, that was impressive.
Well, and the fact that towards the end of the run that he was spun around and still managed to keep his feet.
Oh, that's balance. I don't have that. I know that much.
Twins to the top side, and a slot to the left is Warren. And they motion Aiden Brown into the backfield. They give Caldwell off the right side. Very little to gain there. First man there
Number 9 of the night
was Nate Love out of his cornerback spot. 5'10", 162 pounds, a junior.
One thing I'm noticing here scheme-wise for the Rams is they're running their strength of their offense to the boundary or to the sideline. And the reason you do that is it forces lanes, okay? So it forces you to get upfield immediately. We used to run sweep plays all the time into the boundary. It's a great job because it forces you, like I said, to plant your foot and stovepipe it up. You're almost guaranteed yardage one way or another by doing it that way.
Warren in a slot to the left inside of Logan Hammonds on 2nd and 14. And the pitch to the left. Into space is Warren as he's inside the 20 out to the 15-yard line. So a good pickup there on 2nd down as we're back in the Cincinnati Reds red zone. Big league moments, big league plays, and legendary vibes. Catch all the action at reds.com/tickets.
Great play call there by Coach Cummins and his offensive staff. They saw that Northwest was giving up that edge. They were playing really soft coverage on that side. Great play call to get the ball into space, into an athlete's hands. Now a manageable 3rd and 5 for Ross after the penalty.
Twins to the top side on 3rd and 5. They motion Brown back into the backfield. Fraasman under center. And he'll roll right. He'll keep. He won't have the first down. And this will be an interesting situation coming up here, whether you kick or go for it.
Yeah, we saw him kind of not in a similar situation right before the half. He decided to take the kick. Right now, looks like he's leaving the offense out on the field, Jeff.
And a big play coming up on 4th and 2, a first big play of the second half. And an opportunity to go up by a full score if you get a touchdown here. So Hammonds is the lone wideout to the top of your screen. Again, they motion Brown, they give. And the pitch out. Touchdown, Warren! A late call, and do you see a flag on the play as well?
I do see one there on the left side. It came in. We've talked about it when we've seen teams that run this option, like we've seen Lakota West. It's not about what you do with the football in your hands, it's about what you do without it in your hands. They had me confused again tonight on that play right there.
So no touchdown.
Okay.
No touchdown. They spot the ball initially at the 1, and it's 1st and goal, so he did not cross the plane.
That looks like first and about a credit card.
Fraasman will keep it himself. 22-14 on the second score tonight by Fraasman.
Number 7, senior Brayden Fraasman.
No, we call that a barrel roll play. You tell the quarterback, hey, it's short yardage. You're literally just going to snap the ball and literally just barrel roll over your guard and into your tackle and then just fall into the end zone. At least that's what I used to call it. Literally just snap the football and roll until you get into the fall. Literally roll right into the end zone. Great play call, great drive, exactly what the Rams needed to come out of halftime.
And the kick by Spencer is good, and that's a big point after.
Yeah, that is a big point after. We've seen that, go both ways. On both teams have missed them on bad snaps and bad holds tonight. So again, that was really good to get that down. Sometimes it's the little things, right, Jeff? In football, like a hold right there that you get all excited for. But very impressed by the Rams offense right there. Came out, stayed true to who they are, had a very nice productive pass play, were able to make up the yardage on the penalty, got the touchdown. That is how you run the triple option efficiently.
8-play drive, 65 yards as they march into the house on a Brayden Fraasman 1-yard touchdown run. It took up 4 minutes and 23 seconds off the clock. Point after, the very important point after is good, and a brand new score here in Ross Township, 23-14. So this will be an opportunity now for Northwest to answer. They have to answer back now that it's a score on the first drive out of halftime for the Rams.
Yep, now you got to play catch up here. You got to get on schedule, maintain that schedule, play disciplined football.
And a big boomer into the end zone, 2 yards deep touchback.
I mean, I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. When you have a kicker that can do that, oh, my goodness, it makes your job so much easier as a special teams coordinator. Have them start, especially as a defensive coordinator, too, when you can consistently say, okay, guys, we're going to start. We know where we're starting every single time or where the drive is starting. So just, fantastic job by the kicker and the kicking squad here for the Rams tonight. This defense, though, I'm really curious to see coming out of halftime what they shore up. They struggled with contain on the outside, did a great job on the inside, stopping Northwest inside, but they got to figure out a way to get better contain out of their outside linebackers off the edge.
Triplets to the top of your screen, and they'll reset the offense. The give to the sophomore, Caleb Jones, for short yardage.
I see Derek Rack in there as well for the Ross Rams, just plugging up the holes. That's exactly what you need to do. They've done that great job of that all night long, of really plugging up the middle. And again, no gain there. Northwest right now, you got to kind of get it moving here.
It's Montgomery out of the gun. And to keep the little sleight of hand, nobody bid on it. And Montgomery for short yardage. And this is a bad recipe right now coming up on 3rd and long.
Yeah, this is not what you wanted to have happen if you're Northwest. You're in a 3rd and long situation. The Rams defense have definitely settled things down a little bit, and they're playing really, really good, sound defense, at least on the past 2 plays. They were able to snuff it out and, play heel depth and, basically maintain them for no yardage there. So let's see what they can come up with here if you're Northwest.
Triplets to the left, and now twins as Perkins is a split end to the left. Looking right. Montgomery flushed, and now we'll have to step up and eat it. Tackle for a loss, back beyond the 15-yard line.
Montgomery brought down by number 33 and number 44, Bryson Baston.
So Derek Rack picks up the sack, and it's 3 and out for Ross.
Well, I'll tell you what, we haven't called their names very much tonight because there haven't been many pass plays, but what lockdown coverage by Jack Hansel, number 3, Dylan Hammonds. I mean, great job. There was nowhere for Montgomery to go with that football. Now, he had time to sit there in the pocket. When you run a 3-3-5, you're going to give that up a little bit, but man, what lockdown coverage by the secondary for Rams on that play.
A.J. Goins will punt. This will drop at the 42. Initially take a bounce from Northwest, and now we've got a tussle at the end of the play. I don't think we're going to have a flag on this. Both players, in fact, they look like 12. Kyle Becker got tied up there with 21. Will McCormick, the starting cornerback for Northwest.
And I'll tell you what, he is getting an earful from Coach Cummins coming off the sideline. Oh, wow. Coach Cummins was not happy. I mean, they got very lucky there, Jeff. That should have been a penalty. I mean, I don't like to see guys toss some games, but my goodness, that was not good. And I'm glad that Coach Cummins saw it. He addressed it immediately when he came off the sideline.
Well, we saw some WWE moves out there.
Yeah.
5:32 left to go here in the 3rd. A 9-point lead for Ross. An official stop here.
Out on the field called by the Knights.
Well, did they point that in the way of Northwest? I guess they did.
It was kind of a weird call there.
Well, it looked like initially that they were calling it on themselves, the officials were, and then they pointed in the direction of Northwest. 5:32 left to play here in this third period, and it's a 9-point score. Eli Sports Bar and Grill proudly sponsors high school football with 3 locations, in Mason, Liberty Township, and in Ross. Our 10-foot screens guarantee a great view from every seat in the house. Eli Sports Bar and Grill, the best place in Cincinnati for sports, food, and fun. And I have to give a special shout-out to the folks just about 2 miles down the road in Ross. Thank you for having us for the Win Today show on Tuesday. Reed Mouse hosted. We got a chance to meet Coach Cummins and a number of the players. It was a really good time, and the food was great.
Food was awesome. I'll tell you what, you talk about TVs, that's the place to go to watch a game if you're in Ross, man. They got TVs all over that place. Great time over at Eli's.
A pistol look, and it's Brown will run it out of the Wildcat, and he'll gain a couple of yards off that left side. So a little bit of everything on that play, partner, as Brown came in, took the snap out of a pistol.
And again, you saw Brayden Fraasman there on the left side, get another block. That's the second time we've seen him do that in this game. So I like what Coach Cummins is doing there. Wrinkle up a little bit. You're in league play now. It's time to throw the kitchen sink at it. This is where the games matter.
We melt the clock down towards 5 minutes. Fraasman a year ago was a wingback, picked up 800 yards and 9 touchdowns. So he was a big-time home run hitter a year ago out of a wingback spot. Here's the pitch to Warren, coming to the near side, across the 40, out towards the sideline to the 30, on his feet to the 25-yard line. A pickup of 15 and move the chains. Dickerson on the stop.
You're going to see a great block here off the edge on the replay by Aiden Brown for the number 2, Aiden Brown for the Ross Rams right there. He was able to see the hole, find it, plant his foot, get upfield. Big game for the Ross Rams, and they're on the move again.
It's Hammonds on the outside. They go actually triplets to the far side. This is a little something different. I think they're trying to emulate Northwest on offense. Quarterback keeping. Has an alley for just a moment to pick up a few yards.
Well, there you see it screen-wise. They run away from the bunch, okay? So, you're trying to get your defense to think, oh, what are they doing now? Why are they running this bunch out here? We've never seen this before. And boom, you hit them on the backside. That's a great play. Pick up of 4 yards, 3 yards right there. That's what you want. But you're keeping that defense thinking, Jeff, by throwing all these wrinkles at them. That's what you want to do. I love what I'm seeing from Coach Cummins' offense right now.
Hammonds and Warren, twins to the left. Imes is a tight end to the right. It's Caldwell behind Fraasman, and they motion Brown into the backfield. And the handoff, it goes to Caldwell, and he is stopped. And a great play there. Dickerson out of his linebacker stop. Another stop here in this drive.
Well, I'll tell you what, right there, he extended that play, too far to the east and west. You got to plant your foot and get north-south at some point. He acted like he wanted to and then decided to bounce it out. The better move was, hey, put your head down and gain yardage going forward. Pick up, fall forward for at least 2 or 3 yards at the minimum. But when you stretch that side to side, man, you're doing a lot of work for literally no gain.
We've called Dickerson's name a lot. That's not by accident. He had 11 tackles a week ago against Alter. 3rd and 6. And the give to the tailback. Minimal yardage off that right side.
Decision time again for Coach Cummins. Looks like he's going to leave the offense back out there.
Well, it worked the last time, right?
Yeah. No, it did. Like I said, I like the decision before the half to kick the field goal. Not go for it on 4th down. And here, again, put your confidence in your offense, in that offensive line.
Hammonds is a lone wide out to the near side, and they motion Warren. And back to pass is Fraasman. Over the middle, it is short. And they'll turn it over on downs from the 20-yard line. It was intended for Brown, who had a seam right over the middle against the double team. but the ball was a little short as Fraasman was in heavy, heavy traffic under duress.
I'll tell you what, he doesn't have that traffic. I think that's actually probably a touchdown play. One of my most favorite plays, though, you run a two-receiver into the boundary and have that inside receiver, the slot guy, run what we used to call a bender route, basically to the middle of the field, and then once you hit the middle, you head towards the end zone. That's exactly what they did there. The penetration caused Brandon to basically, underthrow that football. Got a little lucky there, Jeff, that it wasn't intercepted, honestly. But, now time for the Northwest to see what they can do.
So Northwest is held, and they give to Jones up the middle, and boy, he got pushed back. He looked like he had space, and immediately he was pushed back.
Brought down by number 76, junior Tyler Androvich.
Androvich filled up that gap in a hurry.
Wow. And you're right. The way he hit that hole, man, I thought he was gone, honestly. And then, boom, out of nowhere, just comes up and just levels him. Great defensive play by the Rams.
3 yards on that play for Caleb Jones. And the keeper off the left side, nowhere to go. So one thing has been for sure, absent that long touchdown play to end the second quarter, Ross's defense has stiffened.
They have. They figured it out. And I'll tell you what, that play right there by the inside linebacker, Josh Botts, one of the first times we called his name tonight. But you're right, Jeff. They have definitely made the adjustments that they needed to make at halftime. They were playing much more sound defense, especially in the contained game. Like I said early on, that's where they were struggling right now. Again, big third down play here from Northwest. They got to convert here.
Montgomery will throw out, and he'll pitch it out to the right, and it's incomplete. In and out of the hands of the receiver, and he got whacked. Bryson Baston, out of his linebacker spot, made sure the drop happened.
I'll tell you what, Bryson just going in there and absolutely driving him down. I mean, that's incredibly impressive. And, again, I'm just so impressed right now with the way this Rams defense, they have not allowed Northwest to get on the other side of the 50 this entire half. In fact, I don't think Northwest has crossed the 30-yard line yet, Jeff. So, again, fantastic job by this Rams defense, forcing them into another punting situation here.
And we see double safeties, double return men out at the Northwest 45. Warren is one of them, and I believe Brown's the other.
And the reason you do that, Jeff, is you can see Northwest has 2 receivers out to the left, 1 receiver down here to the bottom of the screen. So this is what you call a safe punt return formation, because you got to cover these guys.
Flag on the play, a rugby-style kick. Fair catch called for, and it'll drop out of bounds. A very small kick, but let's see what the flag is.
Can't tell if somebody's lined up off sides. It looks like it's going to be on Northwest. I wonder if the guy down here was just lined up incorrectly and didn't check with the referee.
Well, it's probably, and it looks like the offense is coming out, right? Because it was a bad punt. I mean, it was Shankopotamus.
Yeah, there it is.
8 yards, and they placed the ball at the 30-yard line. It's been a while since I've used that word.
That's exactly what it was. Shanked it out there, and it looked like, that's exactly what it was. It was an illegal motion or legal formation. I'm not sure whether this receiver down here was either on the line, supposed to be off the line. But, he probably didn't check with the referee and say, hey, sir, and where am I? But, nope, now they're picking it up and moving it.
Some indecision as far as spotting the ball.
Yeah, they're still talking about it.
So they're going to tack on, and the net on this punt's going to be even worse.
Yeah.
3. Officially after the infraction, and they'll tack on instead of just take a play, right? It's a 3-yard net on that punt play. At that point, you're just better off going for it.
You're right. You're literally right. Exactly. I'm not sure if that's kind of what Northwest wasn't thinking. That was the first time I've seen that punt formation by them, where they got 2 receivers out there and ran a rugby. So, again, interesting there to see if they come back to that. But you're right. Yeah, better off just honestly running a football play there. But, again, great opportunity again for the Rams to put more points up on the board.
And they come out of the change of possession, twins to the near side. Fraasman under center. They motion Warren, and the give and nowhere to go. In fact, that mesh point was met very quickly. Fraasman held on to it, and it was the big man that we enjoyed coming on in, Jaquan Weathersby, who had made the stop.
Yeah, great job there. Just absolutely blew up that play, and you're right. From the mesh point, from everywhere, that play was just absolutely destroyed by the Rams defender there, by Northwest defender. So, again, if you're Coach Cummins, again, we got to get some more action on first down. That's been there 1 point in this second half. They got to do a better job on that. But again, great opportunity here to get points.
Should be the final play of this third period. 2nd and 11. And the give on a little end around out there by Riley Caldwell. So instead of lining up as a tailback, he came from the wing, and that's how we end this third period. 3 quarters in the book here in Ross. 23-14. This is week 6 here in the SWOC here on Chatterbox Plus. To the fourth quarter we go here in Ross Township as Ross will attack the south end zone. Along with Kevin Zilch, I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us here in week 6 on Chatterbox Plus. Our thanks so far tonight to our producer, our first-time producer with us in the booth, Art Funk. In fact, Art has replaced the production twins. Yeah. Kevin Miller and Zach Teeters are, I'm going to say this, quote-unquote, on assignment tonight.
I think that's a great way to put it, man.
If you know exactly where they're at, then, because I can tell you, but on third down, here's Fraasman trying to push the ball up. He is well short of that first down.
Number 14, Justin.
Cam Kalen is our videographer tonight, so we're all glad to have you here. And we were all regaled by fireworks at halftime, and it was beautiful. So they'll place the ball just inside the 19-yard line, and another fourth down opportunity. Do you throw here?
Ooh, wow, Jeff. I was just thinking the same thing. This might be an opportunity, but, man, I'll tell you what. I keep going back. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so far, it hasn't broken yet for the Rams.
I don't think Imes has drawn a target tonight. He might be a good one to go to. They motion Warren, and they give to Caldwell, and he is stopped, and another turnover on downs. So that mesh point to the right side of the line has not been a favorite spot for Ross, and we may have an injured player here as well.
Yeah, it looks like I can't see who that was. But, yeah, again, that mesh point getting blown up, all like left, right, up, down.
We have an injured Northwest Knight on the
So one of the members of the Knights here is injured with 11:15. And again, for the second straight play, it's a turnover on downs. And this is tough, very tough for Ross. As soon as they penetrate the red zone, or at least come close to it, boom, here comes Northwest playing very tough defense.
Yeah, they have not, and it's the mesh point, and I think you can maybe hear over the line that their offensive line is getting a little talking to by the Rams coach there. Actually, that is Coach Cummins right there with his vibrant voice. But again, I understand where he's coming from. You got to play better, especially in those situations on fourth down in the red zone. You can't have those screw-ups on the offensive line. We talked about it early on that, hey, the one thing with the triple option, you cannot go backwards. You can't have a negative play. That's what kills this offense. And so that's why Coach Cummins was so, I'm going to call it passionate right there. Maybe angry, but I'm going to go with passion. He's so passionate with his offensive line because he's seen what they can do. He's seen exactly what they can do, and they haven't done it there in those two critical situations for Ross. So, he's frustrated. That was a frustrating series and way to end that drive for Ross. But now if you're Northwest, opportunity here.
Looks like Josh Hill. The number was obscured because he's being helped off the field by two people. But I believe that's Josh Hill that got helped off the field for visiting Northwest. So at the 18-yard line, 1st and 10 for Northwest.
Number 16, Caleb Jones on the carry, brought down by number 44.
Northwest right now, they got to get something going. They're stagnant with their offense. There's no rhythm to it. Nothing's going right now. They got to figure out a way to get the ball downfield. If I'm Coach Johnson, I'm going back to the pass. Right now, I'm starting to air out the ball because right now Ross has just shut down the running game for Northwest in the second half.
Montgomery mishandles. Back to throw, looking down the field. Now rolls to the sideline. I thought he was going to throw it away. It's incomplete. Intended down there for 19. Paul Coiner. I'm sorry, we're looking at the Ross roster here. Vernon on the near catch out on the sideline. It looked like it should have been a simple throwaway, partner, but instead he actually did target Vernon.
Good hops there by number 19 coming over there. I used to be able to jump like that way back in the day.
How far back in the day?
Oh, way far back, partner. Way far back.
By the way, while we have a moment on way back, and this is a little different because I've not brought anything up to Jim Henson or the Muppets here in this broadcast tonight, but had he lived, today would have been birthday number 85 for Jim Henson.
Grew up with the Muppets. Love the Muppets.
Well, I have a basic rule in life, is that if you don't like the Muppets, there's something wrong with you.
Exactly. I will agree with you wholeheartedly on that one, Jeff.
And that crosses all sorts of lines. And I think, one of the greatest lines, I think, in sports to divide is Ohio State, Michigan, right?
Oh, yeah.
But both sides should love Jim Henson and the Muppets.
Absolutely.
On third down, Montgomery flushed from the pocket, throws it incomplete out to the sideline. Giving chase was 44, Bryson Baston, and he has been a nuisance here in the second half.
He's been all over the field. Bryson's just been able to just cause and wreak havoc all night long, and especially now that Ross has been able to figure out their defense and contain the edges. Man, Bryce has just been flying all over the field. Great job. And again, right there, what they're forcing Northwest to do is instead of moving north-south, they're forcing them to go east-west and move laterally. What does that do? You're forcing them to run, you're forcing them to expel energy, and they're not moving downfield. Great job so far by Coach Myers and this Ross defense. You have a penalty there, Jeff?
Well, it's fourth down. They placed the ball. Well, they say the 18 up on the board. They're clearly back to their own 8-yard line. So we had something going on, and the punt is nearly blocked. It's out towards the sideline. Warren will not get an opportunity to return it, and this ends up being a pretty good punt. Out to the 47-yard line, and it looks like a 39-yard punt with nothing on the return.
To the 48-yard line where the Rams will have first and 10.
So here we go, Jeff. Again, good starting field position for Ross. We'll see if the passionate speech by Coach Cummins there will, fire up this offensive line for the Ross Rams. I know it got me excited, I guess, a little bit because we could hear it all the way up here.
Hammonds is a single wide to the left. Well, that's the beauty and maybe the fatal flaw on some things in regards to being in a small stadium.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, the risers right in front of us go, what, 8 deep, 10 deep?
Yeah, something like that. Not a big one, but what a great night for football, though, in Ross. It's packed here.
And they motion Brown, and again, a motion penalty. And at this time, it will be against the offense. In the first half, partner, we had seen motion by either Warren or Brown, and that would get the front line for Northwest in a vapor lock saying, hey, they moved, we got to move.
Right, and I think what you're seeing right now, Northwest has been able to kind of settle themselves down. I think in the first quarter, they had maybe 3 encroachment penalties in one drive, so they've definitely been able to settle themselves down. Now, they got to be able to come up with those big stops there as well. So, great job by Northwest. It's their offense has got to get something going in the second half.
Fraasman will keep across the 50 and back towards the original line of scrimmage, and may have gotten another yard more.
Number 7, senior Brayden Fraasman.
So got a chance to talk to Brayden over at Eli's Sports Bar and Grill on Tuesday. We did mention before the long, beautiful, flowing locks, which, from our vantage point up here, we don't really easily get to see. But there's a picture of me thinking that every time he runs, he's got this beautiful golden mane running right behind him. 2nd and 8 with Twins to the left of him. And again, motion Brown, the quarterback, now pitching. And, a great job flushing that one out. First one to get there, Kamari Fry, the tackle for loss.
Great job by Kamari. Great job by the entire Northwest defense. They played sound defense right there. Everybody did their job. They pursued well to the football and was able to drive them back. You know, when you run this triple option, that's the toughest thing to do. It was one of the keys to the game. They got to play disciplined football on defense. Great execution right there by Northwest. Big third down now for Ross.
Came off the clock, under 9 minutes to go here in this one. 9-point score. The margin is 23-14. Fraasman out of the gun, rolls right, looking downfield, will throw over the middle. It is complete. Out at the 33-yard line. Is that Aiden Brown? It is.
Well, I'll tell you what, great pass by Brayden Fraasman, and he took a lick after he threw that. I was watching it. I could see Coach Cummins was watching the same thing, seeing he got up, because, wow, he took a lick, and you can even see he might be a little hobbly there going back to the huddle. But great pass, and exactly what they needed now. Now they get close to the red zone. Got to just, zone in like they hadn't done the last 2 times.
14-yard pickup, and they move the chains. 1st and 10 at the 33. Twins to the near side. Out of the flex, and now they'll motion Brown in the backfield. Fraasman will pitch to Brown, has an angle out to the 30, out to the 25, is escorted out of bounds. Nearly a horse collar, but a good job of holding up from it from Will McCormick, the cornerback, as he escorts him out, but good yardage there for Aiden Brown.
I just gave Northwest praise about how disciplined they were, and then they didn't do that time. They had 3 guys around the quarterback. What does that happen? Well, you left the running back now wide open to get the pitch and get a big gain right there. So, again, that's how quick it can happen with the triple option. You got to tackle everybody, and you got to play disciplined football every single play.
Twins to the top side after a gain of 7 by Aiden Brown, who's been in motion quite a bit here in the second half. Fraasman's under center this time here in the flex. And they motion Brown into the backfield again, and another motion penalty.
False start.
An easy one for the referee to call it, Dale Goodwin. It's 5 against Ross.
Yeah, and, that's just kind of what they've been doing here a little bit, and especially here, in the last couple of drives, it's like great play, and then 2 steps back, and that's what they can't have. I know that is frustrating as heck to Coach Cummins right now, because that is just one thing. He preaches discipline. He talked about it on Tuesday night. Discipline. They haven't quite shown that consistently enough for him and myself here tonight.
And again, motion. So they motion Warren into the backfield, Jay Warren, and then the left tackle or the tight end. It might have been Imes who came off the ball, and they'll march backward 5 again.
And I can tell you right now, in my opinion, I would have maybe called a timeout there. I mean, I know you don't want to do that, don't want to burn a timeout, but that's when you're like that, it just drives you nuts. It drives you crazy, especially in this type of offense. Like we've said it all night, you can't move backwards.
Hammonds to the left, Aiden Brown as a flanker to the right. And the give, it goes to Warren, who has nowhere to go off right tackle, and they really cannot run there anymore, as Juan Carter was the first one to get there for Northwest.
Number 15, number 4.
Yeah, this is a 3rd and long situation. This is not what you want to be in if you're Ross. Great job, though, by the Northwest defense. They have figured out, especially late here in the past 2 drives, they've figured out how to snuff out this triple option. They've given up a couple plays here and there, but overall, fantastic job as opposed to what they were doing in the first half.
The size of the defensive line has taken over for Northwest. It's a running play to the left side for Fraasman into open space, across the 25 to the 20, to the 10, on his feet to the 5, diving for the pylon. He's in, touchdown. Mercy, what a run from 37 yards out. Fraasman scores a hat trick.
Touchdown. We do have a flag on the play. Let's see.
Yeah, I saw a flag there, but yeah, you're going to see the replay right here.
Flag on the play.
And I'll tell you what a great job by Brayden Fraasman down the sideline right here. I mean, just look what he does. Plants his foot, gets out of a tackle there, runs down the sideline, diving for the end zone. Woo, what a play. Exactly what Ross needed. Or was it?
And it's a block in the back end. We will come back. So we'll have to see where the actual block was, because where they're actually positioning the ball is further downfield. And this is in the area where you imagine as they'll place the ball right around the 21-yard line. The block downfield, and block in the back, beg your pardon, the block in the back must have come a little further downfield as Fraasman was spun around and trying to keep his feet.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those. It's like, okay, we got the first down, but we also got it because of penalty, and we didn't score the touchdown. So it's like, I guess you take what you can get with that, but yeah, not a great situation if you're Ross.
Well, this is where we'll talk about this after this play, and again, another motion call. And I will say this. Coach Cummins, after this ball game, is going to applaud his team, but he may make his team run laps.
Yeah, and I'm right there with him right now. You know, the old adage is when one person gets a penalty, we all get a penalty. So it's a team game. But, yeah, this is very frustrating right now. I mean, I'm frustrated as an offensive line guy, and, you know, that's just undisciplined football. I know that's not what he preaches, and this is, you know, abnormal for Ross, and that's why he's so frustrated right now.
So we'll return lemons into lemonade here as you take the touchdown off the board, and now we've got more motion. So before we sort this out, I want to get through this point as they march on back. The lemons in the lemonade perspective on taking the touchdown off the board is even though you take points off the board, you move the ball well, you continue to melt the clock becomes the enemy of Northwest. However, where lemonade becomes lemons once again is if you're marching backwards on motion penalties, that doesn't help you either.
Nothing. Yeah, absolutely right. It doesn't help you. And right now, it's just a mental game for Ross. It's just in the heads. That's all it is.
First and 20 from the 31. Out to Warren, keeping his feet off right tackle. Gains a couple of yards on the play. So Thrasher stops Warren. And rather derisively, we have to applaud the fact that Ross did not commit a penalty for the first time on 4 straight plays.
Interesting here. I just saw number 78, Justin Pence, sophomore offensive lineman, 6 foot 225 coming into the game. I think this is his first action here. So he might be trying to kind of, you know, mix it up a little bit.
We have an official's timeout.
So an official stoppage.
For equipment.
And if your AC or furnace is struggling, turn to the experts at Bartell's Heating and Cooling. Their certified technicians get the job done right the first time.
No need for them tonight, man. What a night.
Oh, it's a beauty. 60s and comfortable.
Yes.
Fraasman will keep. Looking for the corner. Has the corner across the 20. Down the field, down to the 15. You got to appreciate the churn of the young man.
The second effort by Brayden is just unbelievable. I mean, the way he's able to get low, power his body through the line, and what that does, Jeff, is that means he's going to fall forward. You're going to pick up an extra yard and a half maybe just by doing that, by running hard.
Pickup of 12, and we're back in the Cincinnati Reds Red Zone for real-time news and exclusive content. Follow the Reds on social. Go to Twitter @Reds. On third down, Fraasman will run the opposite way this time, looking for the corner inside the 10, has the first down.
Well, he's just taking control of this offense on his own. Brayden Fraasman, I mean, the way he's lowered his shoulder, able to get down. What was it, Jeff? Was that 1st and 20 that they had? Something like that? Yeah. And now it's just got the first down there. So, again, great job by Brayden taking the ball and saying, all right, I'm done with this. We're done with the jumping off sides, taking the ball, taking control of this game for Ross. Great job by Brendan there.
So first and goal from the 6, and this may be a critical score one way or the other, whether it's a field goal attempt or a touchdown, as they put Brown in a wing to the right. Quarterback keeping, dragged down, and could not get anywhere around big number 51, Josh Hill, who had come out of the ball game in the last drive.
Yeah, you know, he snuffed that one out, and, you know, Brayden again, run that ball. Just wonder if he doesn't get tired here. I would say that they would go away from him now, see what they can do. Maybe run to the boundary here like we've seen them do. Out of the gun now, though.
Well, Northwest needs a big stop right here. Their back's up against the wall, 2nd and goal, just about the 5-yard line. And again, another flag. Ooh. By the way, before we get into that, we had seen something that we've not seen all night, and that, from our perspective, it looked like the eye.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it did. Absolutely. And, Jeff, one of the ways that I used to coach defense on the, coaching against this is treat that orbit motion as an eye. They typically snap the football where? When he gets behind the running back or the quarterback. So there's your eye formation. That was for you young coaches out there, that's an easy way to coach against the triple option is, hey, when he motions, when he snaps the ball, that's the formation right there. Another just setback for Ross there with the penalty, I think.
2nd and goal from the 10. Fraasman rolls left, is brought down for a loss of 6.
Reynolds brings down number 7, Brayden Fraasman.
So Colby Reynolds on what you would call a sack. It was a running play, but it's on the quarterback that you took down, so it's a loss on the play. A loss of 5 on the run play.
Well, right now, Northwest is kind of teeing off on Brayden. I mean, I think it's been about 4 plays in a row that he's gotten the ball or had the ball, running it. So if I'm Coach Cummins, I got to think of something different here. I'm doing something different. I'm doing something outside the box to try and get a touchdown here.
Iams is the tight end to the left. And the give to Caldwell up the middle for 5.
Riley Caldwell up the middle.
And the clock continues to melt, and that looks like they're going to bring the field goal team on. So would you actually go for the field goal here up by 9?
With the time and with the way the clock is right now, yes. If there was more time on the clock, I would definitely think about going for more. But with the way this clock is now trickling down under 4 minutes,
as Spencer punches it through and makes it a 12-point lead, 26-14.
I think that was the right move. I think that was the right move. You're always second-guessing yourself, in those type of situations. You want to sit there and say, okay, hey, look, and a lot of it has to do, Jeff, with the way the game is flowing. Right now, the Rams' defense is playing very well. So I'm going to hedge my bet and say, yeah, you know what, that was a good play, good call there by Coach Cummins. Now, hey, I'm going to my defense. All right, guys, look, I'm putting it on your backs. It's up to you guys to win this game right now for us, because basically by making that statement, with under 3 minutes and the way this game has flowed, right now Ross might get the football back under 2 minutes. So that's kind of the way you kind of got to see this game going right now if you're Coach Cummins.
The drive took 6 minutes, 35 seconds off the clock. It felt longer than that, and I'll tell you why here in just a second. 13-play drive that culminated in the 27-yard field goal for Sully Spencer to make it 26-14. The reason why it feels like a longer drive than that, and I'm counting through it here as we speak on the fly, there were 7 penalties called on that drive.
Yeah, that's got to be one of the more penalty-ridden drives I've seen in a long time, honestly, from one drive.
And it did take a touchdown off the board, by the way, one of them. The block in the back. So Spencer will kick things away. From his own 40. Big spiraling kick, and that one goes 7 yards deep in the end zone, and that's the most impressive thing that we saw off his leg tonight.
Absolutely. We talked about it earlier. When you got a kicker that can do that and do that consistently, I mean, my goodness. I mean, it helps you out so much on special teams, everywhere. I mean, just fantastic job. Wow.
So you got a 12-point lead, but 2 scores, 2 touchdowns, 2 normal touchdowns actually ties up a ball game. 2 touchdowns and at least 1 extra point gives you the lead. So that's where Ross is from playing ahead, but that's how close Northwest is. On first down, Montgomery will throw. In traffic, now escapes out of traffic, out towards the 30-yard line, angles out to the sideline, flags everywhere as he finds the sideline to the 40-yard line and is escorted out of bounds, out towards the 43. But let's see what the flag is. Otherwise, it may be a 23-yard pickup. The flags came in the defensive backfield of Ross.
So I'm wondering if it's a hold down field. Either way, they're going to get it sorted out here.
Well, if it's a hold down field, obviously then it's a tack on, right? But in this case, it's like you wonder because he was mid-stride, right around the 28. Didn't get the first down at that point.
Wait and see. Definitely, Ross was out of position in that play. That's really one of the first times in the second half we've seen them truly out of position on defense.
Again, tonight's referee is Dale Goodwin. His staff has been awfully busy. In fact, all the dirty laundry that they've thrown tonight, they're going to need a big wash from the folks at Procter & Gamble just down the road, and they're going to march it down. There's a tack on top of that. So it's
2 penalties.
So a personal foul for one.
Against the Rams. Penalties declined. Personal foul.
Wow.
Rams. That's accepted.
So 2 personal fouls. One's accepted, one's declined. And they'll tack on 15. So that's a big gainer, and Northwest is still in it with 3:28 left to go.
Yeah, Coach Cummins is going to want an explanation on it, and I don't blame him. That is just, wow. Because that means that the fraction happened back here.
As you see him in your screen, by the way, conferring with the officiating crew. We got a chance to talk with Coach Cummins quite a bit. We saw him on Tuesday. We saw him prior to the ball game tonight. He felt confident coming on into this ball game, but I think, just the way this ball game has gone with a number of penalties, he's a little bit right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he talked and preached discipline to us on Tuesday night at Eli's, and right now we just haven't seen that. I mean, 7 penalties in one drive. That's so uncharacteristic of his type of offense and way he plays.
Montgomery to throw. He sets up a screen, and it's incomplete. So not much. It was a design screenplay that really was blown up on 2 ends, to the rush against the quarterback and then as well to the rush to the man trying to receive.
Well, I'm never a fan of running screenplays into the boundary. Screenplays, you need space. You know what I mean? You got to have space for your blockers to get out there, space for your receiver to run and see the field. So interesting play call there, but hey, this is about the first time we've seen Northwest on this side of the 50 all second half.
Prime motions. Throw with time, incomplete, out at the 34-yard line. Intended for Jalen Martin. And well defended out there by Kyle Becker.
Defended on the play by number 3, Dylan Hammonds. We got a 3rd down and 10.
Third down coming up. So Ross had an opportunity to put this ball game away. They've not done it. Northwest is still in it here in the late minutes. It's been great for us as broadcasters, not great for the coach downstairs.
Yeah, hands down the most exciting game you and I have had so far this year.
Montgomery will throw. Looking deep. Deep middle. It is complete out at the 25-yard line. Good for a first down.
Darian Montgomery's pass is complete to number 13.
So Perkins. The Avion Perkins, I believe that's his first catch of the night. Stopped by Jack Hansel, but moved the chains. 1st and 10 at the 26. Montgomery with time, now rolls right. Still has some space. Will throw it towards the end zone, incomplete.
And we got a flag on the play again.
Gary Montgomery's.
Looks like we got a hold. Not sure on who though. Hold on. Yeah, looks like it's going to be a hold on Northwest. And that will.
They had a holding call.
And then we get Nick Moore.
So Nick has gotten some offers. He's the left tackle for this Northwest team. He's a really big-sized athletic man at 6'3", 288 pounds, a senior.
He's got
offers from Marshall, Navy, Army, and Wolford.
I mean, you got to have some really high IQ points to get offers from, especially from the military academies. Hats off to him, man.
1st and 10 from the 36. Montgomery indecisive. The ball comes out. It's loose, and Ross should have it.
Number 4, Darian Montgomery, brought down by number 2.
He didn't make a signal there.
So the ball may have landed out of bounds, out of our sight, before it could have been recovered by Ross. So that's a lucky break for them as they were so close to the boundary.
Well, I'll tell you what, this 3-3-5 defense, one thing it does do very well is it defends the pass, and you saw it right there. Dylan Hammonds, Jack Hansel, Richie Jackson for Ross, just absolutely shutting down any throwing lane that Darry Montgomery would have had on that play, and that's twice now they've done it. They've actually done it kind of all night. So, again, great job by this Rams defense, especially the defensive backfield.
Now, in dissecting the last play as Montgomery was rolling right, do you think he didn't feel the pressure because he was a little lax in trying to get the ball out?
Well, I'll tell you what, for him to get to that level where you feel backside pressure, that's your 300-level quarterback course. You know what I mean? To be able to feel that kind of pressure. You should be able to sense it out of your peripheral vision, but yes and no.
Ross is coming, and Montgomery has it. He'll take it up front to the 30, down to the 20, cuts back, a flag on the play, out to the 15-yard line. So a pickup of 18 on the play, but let's see again what the flag is.
And I think you're going to get a block in the back by Davion Perkins here. I think that's what's going to happen because that looked as clear as day to me that was a straight-up block in the back by Perkins, and it looks like that's what they might be walking off here. We'll see. These officials have been mighty busy tonight.
Well, and this is a game that Northwest, as they're trying to play catch-up right now, as they'll spot the ball back at the 32.
32-yard line and another
that
down for the Knights.
Penalties, have been a crusher to them, particularly tonight. Triples to the top side. Montgomery out of the gun. He'll motion Fry to the right. Twins to each side. Montgomery in space. Now running for his life and dropped. Sacked all the way back at his own 46-yard line. Bryson Baston.
And, yeah, I'll tell you what, when you're a quarterback in that situation, for you young quarterbacks seeing out there, we call this, you got to live to fight another down. Throw the ball away, get the ball out of your hands one way or another. I will say this, Northwest has to do a better job coaching up their receivers that when that type of situation happens, you come straight back to the quarterback. Get on the sidelines, get to the quarterback. Cut your routes off and get back. Again, fantastic job by this Rams backfield. And it looks like another timeout on the field. Didn't see who it was for Ross. So, again, it doesn't really matter. Timeout on the field nonetheless. But, again, great job. This Ross defense has really just honed in on everything, especially in the defensive backfield.
We're due for a timeout. We'll step aside here and come back here with the rest of the ballgame here on Chatterbox Plus. Out of the timeout, 3rd and 36. Montgomery on the half roll to the right. Throws. It is complete out at the 35-yard line. Good job out there by Perkins. So he gained some of those yards back.
Ooh.
As they needed to get down to the 17-yard line.
And it looks like he might be down on the sideline there. That looks like they're holding his ankle. Ooh, man, you don't like to see that.
And they're backing the players away. You and I are actually close enough to field level to see that he's on his back. The helmet is off with 2:04 left to play here in this ball game. I think he's being tended to right now. This is going to take a little bit of time here.
Man, I'll tell you what, that's rough to see. I don't know who made the hit there for Ross. It was I was obstructed there on the play, but just hope he's all right.
Well, again, we got a stoppage here in play. 2:04 left to play here in this ball game. 26-14 here on Chatterbox Plus. So the good news here in this fourth period is Davion Perkins is up 5'10", 154 pounds, a junior here for Northwest. He'll be met out towards the hash mark by the head coach. You and I got a chance to talk to here prior to the ballgame, Lee Johnson. Lee was great in talking with us. One of the things that he really made profound to us is he really wanted to hear hitting tonight. Not just to see it, to hear it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what he quite got what he wanted here tonight. I will say that they showed spurts of it throughout. They've showed spurts, especially right there with when they closed out the first half. But probably not overall what he wanted to see out of Northwest tonight.
On 4th and 19, the home run down the sideline, incomplete. flags. And down there for Vernon.
Ball's just incomplete. It'll be a turnover on downs, and the Rams will take over 1st and 10.
Well,
and Dylan Hammonds, by the way, great job of defending that post corner.
Oh, they've done it all night. They've done it all the second half. I mean, what a job by the defensive coordinator, Coach Myers, for the Rams. You know, they were really shaky in that first half. Came out, they settled themselves down, they made great halftime adjustments. And I think really the biggest thing was they settled down and said, hey guys, especially their outside linebackers, got to read your keys better. We know what our keys are, and we got to read them. And they've done it here, especially that backfield, because we knew that they were going to have to throw the ball eventually right here in the second half. Man, what a job though.
1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. The running play comes out to the sideline. As Will McCormick, the linebacker, stops Jay Warren.
It looks like we got a timeout by Northwest.
Timeout called by the Knights.
Well, hold things right here with 1:37 left to go here in this one, and this is just a case of just holding on to the ball to end the ball game without penalties, because that's all that's really kept Ross from running away with this ball game.
Yeah, exactly. Ross has really kind of stopped themselves really, in the last 2 drives with all the penalties and just all the backwards plays right now. I mean, that's just, what they really can't have happen for them. And, that's just tough. You're not going to get much offensive movement, and Coach Cummins was very, very, very upset, with his offense that last time out.
I want to talk about the points standings right now. Brayden, I'm actually looking at the AP poll, where Brayden is actually number 2 in the state behind Chardon, which is, I believe, to the northeast part of the state. Mm-hmm. Ross, who took the loss to Brayden last week in a battle of points in Region 12, 1 versus 2, they're ranked 10th in the state. So out of the timeout with 1:37, they motion Warren, and they give to Caldwell for a couple of yards, and they continue to melt the clock.
Looking at those standings going down, Brayden at 1, Hamilton in there, Ross, in there in the 5th position, the computer rankings. And right now, with the way the playoffs are set up, that's going to determine home field advantage. Who's going to be able to host a home game. That's a big deal for these schools who are able to get that and have that first-round game here at their home stadium. So, right now what we're seeing, Ross has some things to really clean up, especially on the offensive line with the way they played, the penalties. They got to shore that up. But they have a stretch here where they can get down there and host that home game.
Under a minute left to go. They motion Warren into the backfield, and again, another stoppage in play, and it just gives us a little bit more time to talk about standings, rankings, and what have you. In Region 4, by the way, St. X continues to run the table. They're well ahead of everybody. But I'm going to get on a little soapbox here for just a second. And, partner, I'm going to try to relax my bluntness as much as possible. Milford is ranked 3rd in Region 4 in points. Meanwhile, behind them is a combination of Lakota East, then Princeton, then Lakota West. There is no way on God's green earth that Milford is better than any of those teams, period, the end.
And I was looking at that earlier in the week. I really was. And I was really curious about that same thing. Don't get me wrong. The ECC is a tough conference.
It is not the GMC.
It's not the GMC. And we've seen those 3 teams. We've seen Lakota East, we've seen Princeton, we've seen Lakota West multiple times. You're 100% right. There is no way that is right. Now, I'm curious. I was trying to figure out the point system. I'm not a math guy. I need to go call up Joe Idle probably and have him explain it to me, because that is weird that they are that far up there just with the caliber and the teams that they have played so far. Again, not knocking the ECC. I coached in it for my entire career. Went up against Milford. They have good football. The whole conference from top to bottom, they go to head every single week in that conference. But you're right, and I'm just curious, how does that happen? I want to know, I'd have to reach out to some people and figure that one out.
No way on God's green earth.
No disagreement from me, man. No disagreement.
I have a point on this after this play as they motion the tight end to the right. And again, they run out of the flex. And the quarterback keeping it, trying to turn upfield, and Fraasman does! He breaks through, has a first down to midfield. He was in the middle of traffic, literally disappeared from our view, picks up 13.
Well, you just see the way he's able to move his feet right there. He's been doing that all night long.
one more point to make. So in the case of Lakota West, who in terms of the AP poll, and typically I like the computer points more than the AP poll, this is one of those times where I like the AP poll a little bit better. Lakota West is 7th. Are you telling me the 7th-ranked team in the state is 6th in your own region?
I know, and that's again, I don't understand how that happens, and I don't know how these points are weighted, because I dissected Milford's schedule, and they have not played anybody that would get them that type of points. They really haven't.
The victory formation, and they'll come off the field, and that's the way she ends. A great defensive effort here, especially in the second half for the Ross Rams, shutting out Northwest in the final 24 minutes, 26-14. Well, partner, they sure made it a close one.
Yeah, what an exciting game. Really, back and forth. Ross really kind of shot themselves in the foot and really running away with this game. So, again, great job by both teams. Great job by, Northwest into the halftime, and then fantastic adjustments by the Ross Rams at halftime, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, my goodness, the way they came out and shut down the edge and was able to contain Montgomery in the backfield all the second half. I mean, just great job by Coach Myers and Coach Cummins on that defensive side. On the offense, yeah, they got some work to do, and it probably won't be a very fun Monday or even very fun Saturday morning for this offensive line. At least I know if I was coaching them, it wouldn't be. But yet again, great win. Find the mistakes, fix the mistakes, move on from the mistakes, and worry about, who they got next week, which is Talawanda.
Watching tape on Saturday, it will be a mixed bag.
Might be a little loud.
Here in Ross. The Rams improved to a record of 4-1. They're 1-0 in the SWOC. Kenyon Cummins gets the win tonight over his counterpart Lee Johnson. As Northwest drops their second straight, they fall to 3-3, 0-1 here in the SWOC. Play of the game tonight, powered by Headlines. What's your pick?
Right now, honestly, it's that touchdown by Brayden Fraasman in the fourth quarter that was actually called back. I mean, that was when he dove into the end zone on the left side down here. Again, that is my play of the game. I know it wasn't a touchdown. I don't really care. The way that he played, the way that he all this game, especially on that play there, breaking 3 tackles and then diving down into the end zone, again, that's my play of the game.
Well, it certainly was the prettiest thing. Of course, we still got to get a play in there that's in regulation, partner, but we'll figure that one out for Twitter, so it's all good. But Fraasman was definitely the star of tonight's ball game. Should have had a hat trick of touchdowns tonight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that one there called back. I mean, should have had a lot more, but, you could have picked out 4 or 5 different plays probably that he ran here tonight that would have been, equivalent for a play of the game. But that's mine right there. And the way that he ran that ball and the way that he was able to find his lane, figure it out, and then dive into the end zone, just very impressive by him.
And again, a great effort by Ross. They rebound from last week's win against a quality Northwest team tonight who really showed some mettle up front. That defensive front 4, by the way, as the second half progressed, really gave Ross a lot of fits.
Yeah, Sion Williams up front, did a great job. And we talked about it earlier, when they play heel depth on the defensive line and are able to sit there, not over-penetrate into the backfield, especially when it's so easy to do against a triple option offense like this. They have some improvement to do, but again, I think overall sound defense by Northwest here tonight. They just have a few things that they just got to work on, especially on the offensive side, getting in a rhythm offensively.
Partner, final thoughts on this one?
Again, the way that they were able to make adjustments, the Rams were able to make adjustments coming out of halftime just shows me that Coach Cummins, Coach Myers, and his entire staff, they have the kids locked in. They were able to say, okay, guys, here's what we need to do different. Offensive line play, offensive side of the football, very different there, especially in that second half. But again, though, I'm sure that they will get that shored up. On the Northwest side of things, Coach Johnson's trying to build a program there. He's trying. He's trying his best to get Northwest into the playoffs and be competitive, which I think he's going to do. He said it here tonight. Hey, we got to focus and take care of what we can take care of here tonight. Did they necessarily do that from start to finish? No, but they had great glimpses of it, and they need to build off of those great glimpses here against a really good Rams defense and offense.
Partner, was a fun one. Can't wait to see you in October.
I know, right? Can't believe that, man.
Week 7 next week here to start off October. Thanks go out to our producer, Art Funk, And to our videographer, Cam Kalen. This game took 2 hours and 22 minutes. The winner to Ross tonight, 26-14 over Northwest. And that puts a wrapper to week 6 here in Ross Township. Glad that you were along with us here on Chatterbox Plus.